All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going to dive into a really frustrating modern problem. You've built this huge, incredible second brain. You've got thousands of notes, quotes, ideas, all perfectly captured. But then, when it's time to actually make something, you draw a blank. So why does a system that's supposed to be a launchpad for knowledge end up feeling so, well, empty? Let's get into it.
Does this sound familiar? I mean, you've done everything you were told to do, right? You've got the methods down, you've built the system, you've captured every single fleeting thought. You thought this was the secret weapon for creating amazing things. But when you actually look at your output, the articles you wanted to write, the projects you wanted to start, maybe even that book, it feels like you're right back at square one. If that's you, trust me, you are in very good company.
The author of the book we're talking about today found himself in this exact same situation. Get this. Over 3 years, he became a total master of collecting, just obsessed with the promise of tools like Obsidian. He gathered, he linked, and he grew his digital garden to an absolutely massive 20,000 notes. I mean, that's a huge vault of ideas.
But this huge collection, it led to a pretty painful realization. After all that work, all that activity, the book he was dreaming of writing wasn't any closer to being done. Actually, it felt like the more notes he collected, the more lost he became. And this is really the central question for us today. What went wrong? Why did this system, which seems so powerful, completely fail him? So what is the real problem here? Well, it turns out it's not the tool. It's not about Obsidian or any other app. The problem is a much deeper trap, one our source calls the productivity myth. It's this idea that we've become so obsessed with the how to organize, how to link, how to tag, that we've completely lost sight of why we even started collecting notes in the first place. So how on earth did we get here? Well, it started with a sociologist named Niklas Luhmann. His famous Zettelkasten, his slipbox system, wasn't just some hobby. It was a tool built to serve a single, massive, lifelong purpose: his social system theory. The why couldn't have been clearer. Then the method got popularized for academic writing, and that original why started to get a bit watered down. And finally, we get to the modern second brain, where the method has been systematized for, well, everything. By this point, the focus on how to do it has almost completely swallowed that original powerful why. You know, the productivity myth is really about a fundamental mismatch. We're applying old-school, industrial, factory-line thinking to creative work. In a factory, it's simple. More input equals more output. Efficiency and quantity are king. But knowledge work? That's a totally different game. It runs on meaning, quality, and deep original thought. We've basically been measuring our progress with a factory ruler, patting ourselves on the back for the quantity of our notes instead of the quality of our idea. And this obsession with the how creates this really dangerous illusion the author calls the meta work trap. You know what this is. Meta work is all the stuff we do that feels like work. Organizing our notes, tweaking our systems, hunting for that perfect plugin. It gives us that little rush, that feeling of accomplishment. But what it really is, it's a very sophisticated way to procrastinate, to avoid the hard, messy, but absolutely essential work of actually creating something. Just think about that beautiful, sprawling graph view you see in apps like Obsidian. It looks like a whole universe of creative connections, right? But the author had this crucial insight. That graph wasn't a map of his creativity. It was just a receipt for his activity. It was proof that he was busy, not that he was building anything new. And that's the trap. We've started to confuse the act of connecting with the act of creating. Okay, so if collecting is the problem, what's the solution? The author proposes this really powerful shift in how we think about our work, a brand new metaphor. We need to stop being hoarders and start acting more like weavers. It's time to shift from just collecting information to actually creating with it. He calls this new approach dual weaving, or 이중직조 in Korean. It's this beautiful idea that real creation only happens when you interweave two different things: your own internal world of ideas and knowledge with the external world of real problems and actual needs. It's not just about what's inside your head, it's about how your ideas can connect with and actually serve the world. Let's break this down. Think of an old-fashioned loom.
The first set of threads, the ones that provide the structure, are called the warp, or naishu. These represent the world's context, the problems that need solving, the needs people have, the conversations that are already happening. The second set of threads, the ones you weave through, are the weft, or shishi. Those are your threads, your unique ideas, your skills, your personal insights. And the weaving, or jikjo, well, that's the creative act itself. It's the process of interlacing your contribution with the world's needs to create something totally new and valuable right at that intersection.
This gives us a totally new way to think about purpose. A poor purpose is always one-sided. You're either totally lost in your own head, just weaving your own threads and ignoring the world, or you're just reacting to the world's demands without adding anything unique. Either way, you're headed for burnout. But a rich purpose, that's found in the active weaving. It's connecting what you have to offer with what the world actually needs. And that's where the real sustainable energy and value get created. Now, adopting this kind of approach isn't just about learning a new tactic or a trick. It's really about taking on a whole new identity. It's about evolving from being a passive collector of stuff into what the author calls an architect of meaning, an active, intentional creator.
So let's put these two roles side by side. The collector is always asking, how? How can I save more, organize better? They're focused on quantity, they're obsessed with storing, and they just react to information. But the architect, they start with why. Why does this matter? They focus on quality, they're obsessed with designing meaning, and they actively create from information. It's a huge shift. So the real question is, which one of those sounds more like you right now?
So becoming an architect really just means asking better questions. It's that simple. So instead of asking, how do I save this? You start asking, why does this piece of information matter for the problem I'm trying to solve? Instead of, what's the best tool for this? You ask, what is the core meaning I want to design here? You see the shift? It completely reframes your entire approach from one of passive storage to one of active, purposeful creation. So this is the question I really want to leave you with. As you look at your notes, your to-do lists, and your big goals, just ask yourself, are you spending your time just collecting bricks of information, or are you ready to step up and be an architect, someone who actually designs and builds something meaningful with them? The choice really is yours.